Volvo C30, a relatively oddball first car. If you've clicked on this video, it is slightly odd, isn't it, to have one of these as your first car, but today I want to take this one out. Now, backstory, when I was doing my apprenticeship as a 16-year-old, it was at a Volvo garage where the C30 facelift had pretty much just come out. In fact, since that day, I passengered one of these pretty much when they were new. I have never driven one, so today I wanted to take this one out to talk about ownership experience and the idea of you owning one when you're young, because not only these are slightly oddball, I mean, it's not the first thing you'd think about when thinking of buying a first car, maybe a second car or something relatively inexpensive for you to drive around in that's economical and safe. This could be up there because they are right on the price. You know, £3.5 grand, say you'll pay for one of these, which I don't think's loads of money, because you'd usually find people that would go and buy the Focus, wouldn't they? You just go and buy a Focus. This is a very similar platform, similar engine. It's derived from the Focus, so you will be able to put Focus parts on this. I mean, this one is actually running ST suspension. Yes, it's got a couple of modifications, and we will get into them in a second. First things first though, the drive. It is quiet, it is nice, the seats are super comfortable. The gear change and everything is as it should be. I will say, 150,000 miles on this car. So, I was coming to it with the, you know, expectation of 150,000 mile diesel hatchback. It's not there. It's very, very good, this. It's obviously true testament to how good Volvo is, and that side of things, everything is as it should be in this car. We're interrupting today's video to show you guys the new release on FYD. We have 3 new stickers. As you can see, I've put them on the back of the mighty Budget 300C today. We have B-Road bashing, we have the FYD apparel just there in old English text, and of course we had to bring back the much requested Dreams Arch logo. These are sold separately and are available right now. Link is in the description. Support the brand, support the channel. Go and grab yourself some stickers. FYD apparel, link is in the description. Let's get back to the video. So, if it was your first car though, you're looking at 46, well, it's actually saying 46.5 mpg we are running at the moment. That's, you know, town driving, having fun driving and motorway driving all at the same time. You'll be getting over 50 on the motorway run very, very easily. This is the 5-speed model though, so I will point that out. It may differ if you were to get into a flappy paddle, say, model of this generation of diesel C30. But we'll get onto the mods, because I think that's something that you guys would want to know. So modifications are a little bit hit or miss on this car. Yes, it does share a lot of stuff with the Focus, but finding things that are specific to the Volvo C30 is going to be slightly harder. But thankfully this one, of course, because it is a Focus derived engine, has a little bit more power in it, about 109 brake horsepower from the factory. This one with a stage 1 map is 171 brake horsepower at 370 newton meters of torque. That is a big power gain over the stock figures, so should create a lot more excitement. And again, that's relatively inexpensive to get a lot more power out of this chassis, out of this engine. That's why I'd say probably think about going for a diesel if this is your first car, if you're looking for your first car. Sometimes in different variants of cars like this, you can get a lot more power just after a stage 1 remap. This one, of course, has a bit of fettling from other parts, but it does have a straight through exhaust system as well, with the twin exit at the back. So that obviously is really good for a, you know, first driver. I mean, having MPG is great. I mean, you won't have to pay as much on your fuel bill. Your tax is £30 a year on this car, which again is ridiculous. I don't think I've ever had a car that's £30 a year to tax. And this one, talking about insurance, the owner, it's his first car, declared mod, so that's everything declared, is £1,000 a year. Coming from stories that I've heard from other people in their first cars, that seems incredibly good value for money. Considering what you get something that is incredibly safe. I mean, your parents would be very happy how safe this car is. There's airbags literally everywhere. You'll get that tax benefit of a diesel, and it's £30 a year, which is, again, fantastic. Now, of course, the fuel will change if you map it. It might get a little bit better on a run, but of course, you'll be putting your foot down a lot more. Not a bad thing, but let's go 3rd gear. Little bit of turbo noise at the front, little bit of rumble from the back. Honestly, my first car, right, was a Corsa C, 1 litre. There's no way it would have been as fast as this car is. Because it's a Volvo, though, you are sort of cocooned in loveliness. It's comfy, it's quiet, it's a really nice place to be in here. So you can't hear as much as I thought I was going to be, but that's not a bad thing. I mean, I'm a little bit older now, so I don't mind a quiet car. So 3rd gear again. Plant it, hear turbo noise at 2,500 RPM. We are really chugging up to the 3. Your red line's about 4.5. So remember, this is a diesel, you can't really rev it out that far. I did creep over to the 4,000 RPM, and you know, it does tail off a little bit, but just knock it back into the next gear. It does surge 4th gear. I mean, we are chugging along. Very impressed with the low down torque in this car. Of course, diesels do have it, but this one, it does, even in 4th, hunker and just pull you through the gear, through the rev. So we will have a quick look around the C30, because I feel like the looks of these is where I started to like, especially this facelift era of C30, and being an R design gives you so much more of a look on this chassis, in my opinion. Arches, side skirts, a little bit more of a splitter at the front, and I will say, if you're after a pre-facelift, although they are very good, the facelift just looks so much better, in my opinion. Got the hexagon grille with the R design just down there, and this one, as you can see, is actually wearing some aftermarket black wheels in 18-inch. Actually sit really nicely on the car. You have the black wing mirrors, black roof, coming round the back. This is my favourite bit though. This is where I liked these C30s when they came out. The rear end shot, especially the 3/4 shot. So you got the rear with the side lights coming down with this larger rear window, very reminiscent of the previous Volvo hatchbacks that we've had. We've actually shot on the channel a few years ago. In keeping this look, got the R design going down, twin exhaust on this one. We'll take a look inside, because it is slightly different, well, a lot different to a lot of other mainstream cars. That's why I'm calling it more of an oddball. We actually will jump in, because the steering wheel is actually a lot larger than other steering wheels in manufacturers from this era, so you'll really notice that. Maybe as a younger driver that'll be a better thing. Maybe if this is your first car, you will appreciate the bigger steering wheel a little bit more. Blue dials just behind there as well. This one's currently showing 150,000 miles, and as I've already said in this video, it feels really good. It actually feels like it hasn't got that mileage on it. Now, you do have some buttons on the steering wheel, cruise and your volume buttons, but down here is one of the coolest things. So as I've already said, I remember these cars when they came out, and this center console from this era of Volvo was so cool. Some of them you could even see through in some of the Volvos from this era, but this one has the cubby hole just behind the center console here, and you have a lot of buttons in the center, but again, easy to use. The directional fans are very simple. 5-speed manual box just there. You have a little cubby hole here with 2 drinks holders, which is a shout. You've always got to have cup holders in these cars, and a little armrest just there. Oddly though, and you will notice, the handbrake is actually the other side of the center console. Again, something that, you know, you're used to having a handbrake this side. I will point that out though, slightly random. Back here though, we do have 2 rear seats, which will take people very easily, and they're actually sort of like an independent seat. If you put that center armrest down, it makes them 2 rear independent seats. So this is a 4-seater. Let's stop looking around the car, get back on the road. I think if I was going to take myself back and I was, you know, say I was 18, 19, 20, this is fast for an 18, 19, 20. Do you know what? It drives absolutely fantastic. Although it has that mileage on it, no bangs, no horrible noises coming from the suspension. Feels pretty sedate, which is nice. Like, I like sedate, something you would expect from a Volvo chassis. The inside's cool though. I like the center console. I mean, when these cars came out, I was about the center console, and mainly because you could put stuff behind it, which was a really, really cool feature. Good use of space from Volvo back then when they were actually designing these things. Second gear. There we go, she's going now. Third gear seems to really be where the power is, I reckon. As a younger driver, I feel like you're really going to feel the torque. You're going to feel that brake horsepower, definitely, if you stage 1 map it. Yeah, this is something I think we'd all aspire to have as our first car. Something that's just really nice. And this is a really nice example of these cars. I always try and get maybe something that's a little bit higher mileage, something that maybe a younger driver has, which is, you know, what this is, a young driver actually owns this. So we've been able to go through the motions of what it's actually like to own this thing. He said, you know what, I wasn't looking for a Volvo. To be honest, I didn't really think about it. I was looking at Focuses, I was looking at other stuff. He sort of said, but this was local, and I sort of thought, oh, I'll go and have a look at it, because I mean, it's cool, it looks the part, it shares a lot of Focus and Ford related bits on it, but it's a Volvo. And he sort of got there and yeah, bought it and drove away and hasn't looked back. And that's really nice that someone sort of took the plunge to go and do that. I couldn't really talk anyone into these cars, and I've never been able to talk myself into one of these, because when I was younger and I was in the Volvo dealership, these were out, and you know, subsequently over the years they've come down in price. I've just never really got there to have one of these as a daily driver. I don't know why I haven't, because it's really, really nice. So with that, guys, I'm going to end today's video there. Thank you so much for watching. If you do like Volvos, if you liked this video, please give it a like. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. We'll see you on the next one.